I'm going to kick off with the question everyone wants to know, which is Boris Johnson. Do you want to be Prime Minister?
What I want is to change the current state of the Brexit negotiations away from where they are, which is, I think, mired in confusion. We've got the EU rejecting the Chequers proposals. I think they're highly unsatisfactory. And the problem with Chequers is that in order to resolve what are actually easily fixable problems at borders, it keeps us in the EU's regulatory framework forever, and probably also in the customs union. That means basically that we have failed in our duty to the people to take back control.
You've set yourself up with a very different plan as a different person that could negotiate Brexit. Do you think you'd do a better job at negotiating Brexit than Theresa May?
No, I think that Theresa has been on the right lines, and indeed she's doing the right thing in a sense today by trying to get rid of this Irish backstop that we mistakenly agreed in December the 8th last year, but then do a big free trade deal. And that's the way forward.
You're very clear that she needs to chuck Chequers. Lots of your colleagues agree with you. If she won't chuck Chequers, must the party chuck her?
No, what needs to happen is there needs to be a change of policy. And
not of leadership?
No, it's not about that. This is about the direction that we're going in. And my anxiety really is that, yes, it's true, formally speaking, that the EU has rejected Chequers. But be careful, because actually it's a great deal for them. And I just want to make, because I don't think people quite get this, the Chequers deal is actually, were it to be agreed with the EU, would be a political triumph for Brussels. Because what it would show is that the United Kingdom, for all its power and might, for all the £2 trillion economy that we have, fifth biggest economy in the world, that in the end, when it came to it, we were unable to reclaim economic and political independence.
That's
the risk. I think there are some people on my side of the argument who kind of think, oh well, Brussels will never wear it. I think it's a disastrous option, but I fear that Brussels may go
Mr.
for it.
Johnson, I totally understand that you want to play the ball, not the woman. I get that. But lots of your colleagues are saying that she should step aside after March next year, that she's the right person for Brexit, but not the right person for beyond. What do you think?
This is not the issue for me. It really, really isn't. Don't forget what I had to do, Beth. I was there in the Leave campaign, and I played a role in that, and I argued for a vision of Britain. It's a fantastic opportunity for us. And I did argue for that within Cabinet for a very long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I would sense that things weren't going my way, and it was very frustrating. And I would intervene publicly, and I would get, and I wrote pieces and made speeches and so on and so forth. But I kept thinking that we would get there in the end. And I kept getting assurances.
Yeah. Do you think she should lead the party into the next general election?
That's a matter for her, and she said herself that she'll go on for as long as.
All right,
but let me be. It is so important that people understand that this is about trying to get Brexit back on track, and I think I think it's about trust and how people see us. So I feel it obviously very personally because I was partly responsible. Yeah.
Your sister Rachel said of you, he knows life's a competition, he always wants to be on top. You yourself once said that your ambition was to be world king.
That's according to Rachel.
Well, it's been a bruising couple of years for you, professionally and personally. Have you softened your ambition? Is it all just about changing Chequers, not you've given up on the top job?
I can honestly say that if we can get this right now, and I do believe there's a very good chance that we will, and we can revert to an optimistic, self-confident vision for what this country can achieve, my cup will run over.
Okay.
It really will.
It has become quite heated, though. You described her Brexit plan as a suicide vest wrapped around Britain. Do you regret those words?
I think there is, I'm afraid, in what we're trying to do with the, I'm sorry to revert to it because I know you think it's a technicality, but the December the 8th Irish backstop would effectively give the...
I know, but it's not
can I
great
just explain?
Yeah, I know.
But I explain. I think people need to understand.
It's not great language, though, is it? It's not really prime ministerial language, is it?
That's for others to judge.
Did you feel bad about it? You didn't even feel bad about it.
I felt it was. What I think that the problem with the Irish backstop is very accurately.
The problem with the words.
I stand by what I said.
You didn't feel bad.
I stand by what I said.
Okay, what about burkas? Did you feel bad about that?
I stand by what I say in all these things. Beth, if you go back over 25 years of my writing and speaking, you will find I'm trying to say something radically different from what people impute to me. And what I would ask our viewers to do is actually to go and look at the articles concerned.
Some of your colleagues
because sometimes
felt that
there is an element...
apologise for calling, describing women wearing burkas as bank robbers and letterboxes. You're now under investigation. Will you apologise for that, or do you think that was okay?
As I say, I stand by what I wrote. I urge my friends and colleagues to look carefully at what I wrote. I think you will find invariably that there is an element of confected indignation about things that I've said that are wrenched out of context. And in this particular context, I think possibly, to just throw this thought out there, Beth, what is going on is that people do feel a slight sense of uneasiness about the direction, more than a slight sense of uneasiness, real alarm about the direction of the Brexit negotiations, and they are conscious that I have a strong view about that, and I think they're perhaps reacting to that as much as to anything else. So you've become a Marmite politician because of Brexit. Do you think you used to be a Heineken type. Well, I have to say this is nothing new. People do take things out of context. I urge people to look at the article concerned and actually, perhaps more importantly, to look at what I've been trying to say today. The better way forward is to go with a Super Canada deal. That would be fantastic for this country. That would, in my view, set us on a course of prosperity for a long time. No, I would like the Prime Minister to get back to her initial position and to deliver on that vision, and thereby to deliver on the hopes of the people who voted to leave in 2016.
Thank you so much.
Not at all.